am Casucci, and how many of you have been told a story when you were younger about your parents when they were younger? Okay, yeah, majority of you, that's good. So today I'm going to be explaining, or more telling, of a story my dad told me when I was younger. But I'll tell you that at the end of the speech, because you need a little bit of a description of like what my dad has gone through, or more grew up through, and how what he's like. So my dad was born in Poughkeepsie, New York in 1974, and then grew up in Millbrook, which is 45 minutes away from Poughkeepsie. He later, once his parents got divorced, moved to Castleberry, but still switched between the two, Millbrook and Castleberry. Castleberry is a little bit outside of Orlando, about 45 minutes. So my dad is the youngest of three, but he really had to act the oldest once they all grew up. He was the first out of his whole family to make it through college, and he was just a kid when he was younger. He was like a street rat. He kind of just skated. He was just doing whatever. Didn't really care about life. Just was chilling. He when he grew up with my grandpa. He hated it. He saw what my grandpa would do. And he told me when he was younger, once he grew up, wanted to be the complete opposite of what my grandpa did. My grandpa wasn't necessarily a bad guy, but in those times wasn't like a great guy. He was kind of bad. He would really only care about making money, and saw my uncles and my dad as kind of just workers that could help him lighten the load and help him make more money. And my grandpa wouldn't really care about other people, but would expect stuff in return. He wasn't like a racist or anything, or he just didn't really care for other people but himself at that time. And my dad just hated that. My dad, when he was growing up in schools and stuff, would see people, rich, poor, different ethnicities, different cultures, all picking on each other. Like there was no set person doing all the bullying or all of just being the mean guy. And this confused my dad. He's didn't really understand why people were being mean to one another. He kind of just didn't understand why everyone was nice, everyone was buddy buddy. It wasn't really until when he was in Castleberry, when he was with a couple of his friends he made, he was Mexican and the other one was African American. When he was growing up, and this is the story, he came across KKK people trying to recruit people when they were causing trouble. And one of the trouble was they were kind of messing with my dad's two friends he made. And they didn't really know much about my dad because he kind of kept going back and forth. And the community was kind of small, so they kind of would know everyone but my dad. So when they were just leaving him alone, my dad kind of jumped in and said who he was, and just kind of caused he just wanted to protect him because he doesn't understand why there has to be people hurting one another. And so he got really beat up. It was kind of bad, but not much they could do since it was at the time a really small area where they were at, and it was just not good, and they couldn't really tell the police or anything. And so in the end, he was just badly hurt, and kind of was just weirded out how getting hurt for something he believed in, it just didn't make sense to him. So when he started growing up, he would keep saying stuff like that, but we always try to make a difference by being nice, befriending those people and all that, without being mean or anything. And that was the story he told me when I was at a younger age. He after he told me that story, he said, "Bubba, I know it's going to be confusing right now, but once you grow up, you'll understand how you shouldn't be judging people, and you should just look at people as people." And at first I didn't know what that meant. I was just a confused little kid. I was just trying to play with my toy cars. That's all I was trying to do at the moment. And it wasn't really until I was in 7th, 8th grade where I actually really did notice where people were being mean to each other just to try to make them feel better or try to get one up on the person. That also didn't really make sense to me. I just didn't understand why. I was the little kind of chubby kid who'd always just try to make friends with everyone. And in the end, I now realize how you shouldn't be judging people just by that story my dad told me, I now realize that you shouldn't be judging people. You should just be looking at people as people. And I chose this topic mostly because I'm not saying it's around campus or stuff, and I still see this. I see people like either judging this person because he's either that, or just because he looks like this, and I don't always understand that. I mean, I'm not perfect, of course. I do that, and I catch myself, and I don't understand why I do it. I guess maybe it's just humans being human. But in the end, I chose this topic because I want you guys to just come away from this thinking, hey, maybe I shouldn't be thinking of this person like that. Maybe I should be thinking of him like this. Maybe I should befriend him. And like how that's what I want you guys to take away, like how I took away from what my dad said. It might take you a little bit, but in the end, I know it would make this place a better place and help people become better people. So, thank you for listening, and that's all I have.